Please welcome your host, Adam Wilborn.
Yeah, it's wank when I do it, isn't it? It's time. The end of the world as you know it is here. Now. Those were the last words of a creepy child in a creepy school, complete with a creepy mate that had been seen for weeks on WWE television, hyping somebody or something appearing on Monday Night Raw on the 2nd of January 2012. It felt strange, it felt mysterious, and it felt big. And then the motivation and the man behind it all was revealed. And for one of the first times in his career, Chris Jericho was a bit of a disappointment. WWE shook the cameras around and turned off the house lights to show off Y2J's new light-up jacket, but the expectant Pavlovian pop was really all that the company and Chris himself were going to get. It was more of a pleased to see you pop than a pleased with the payoff pop, because unlike myself, Zoe and Ash, these things really didn't seem related. Remember that raw-throated energy when the word Jericho first flashed up on the Titantron in 1999? Yeah, that was absent. Remember the sheer relief and giddy thrill of a genuinely entertaining talker interrupting Randy Orton in 2007 to save us? Ooh, X plus 1, 2 and another number. What could that possibly mean? Yeah, none of that was there either. Look, Chris Jericho was back, but he was going to test a method he'd never, ever tried before. And also one he'd never, ever try again. He was going to say nothing. I'm Adam Wilborn from What Culture, and this is That Time Chris Jericho Trolled the World. So I rewatched the footage of Chris Jericho's return in 2012 before I came in here, and the video really does tell an interesting story. I mean, on commentary, Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler speak of pandemonium, but I'll be honest, the footage tells a completely different story, with the crowd sort of dying even before his music stopped. It's the first test of this complex character arc that Chris Jericho actually passes with flying colours. He spots the fact that people are getting less and less arsed about him being out there before even Break the Walls has been cut, so he decides, I'll tell you what, I'll just dive in the ring and bounce around a bit, and he gets another wave of cheers from his adoring public. It's all high fives next, with Chris Jericho doing laps around the ring, greeting his fans, as the whole thing seems to sort of drag on a little bit. But beyond the first row being able to reach out and touch him, and what I wouldn't give to be able to do that, but that's a completely different story, he's still sort of losing the rest of the crowd again. But he wins them back by asking for a microphone. This bit in particular is inspired. Look, even in 2012, we all knew that Raw had the tendency to drag on a bit, and this was clearly Chris Jericho just filling time before the sexy beast finally tells us what he's come back for. He gets a microphone, and he pulls it away for a second. With the microphone inches away from his miles-wide smile, he yet again hams it up, actively tiring himself and the Memphis Raw crowd. It works as well as it does because his audience has faith in him. They fill his silence just to try and end it. More chants break out after he does a mic-free, "Come on, baby!" He gets a welcome back chant, all in honor of this grinning babyface. Except he wasn't a babyface when he left, was he? 2010 was a million years away from 2012 thanks to a rather chaotic 2011. But Chris Jericho was last seen on WWE TV getting punted in the head by Randy Orton for just, well, being a bit of a prick to John Cena and WWE in their turf war against the Nexus. What could have been? Little details like that initially didn't seem to make a lot of sense all of a sudden start to add up, right as Chris Jericho's return gets even more confusing. We are nearly 7 minutes removed since that weird, creepy kid said now, and Chris Jericho hasn't said a goddamn word into the mic yet. It's around this time that the first boos in the arena can be heard, as these smart fans, not me, I didn't have a bloody clue, I just thought he was taking his sweet time if I'm honest, but the first people in the arena realise that there is no babyface turn to be had here. Chris Jericho, at this point, how can I put this? He's getting fucking weird. And whether they want to be or not, this audience are there for it. Trending worldwide hashtag Y2J flashes up on the screen as Chris Jericho taunts the crowd into another "which side is louder" game. I mean, there's nothing here, it's the studio, but you get the idea. We are watching a master of his craft at work. The only problem being is that we don't really know what that craft is right about now, and we kind of have to watch because he's dropped the bloody microphone. You see, long before he had his list or embraced the grandiosity as himself as Le Champion, he found himself achieving everything by, well, effectively doing nothing. He was experimenting with a hinterland version of the gimmick that neither steered into nor away from everything that had come before. Speaking of which, what the bloody hell was all that with the kid in the school then? How exactly was the world about to end if this now unreliable soothsaying narrator didn't even have a bloody voice? And still, some fans cheered as Chris Jericho, 10 minutes into the segment, I hasten to add, walked back up the ramp, smiling and waving in a segment that featured nothing more than this. To explain it is to kind of embody Ricky Gervais's David Brent offering up appraisal options to listless colleague Big Keith. Absolutely nothing was happening, and it was always the same. And yet, clearly, it wasn't. This was different from any other return or promo we'd ever seen. It wasn't even a promo. Didn't say anything. Fans would have to wait 3 more weeks for a promo. Yes, Chris Jericho got away with 2 more weeks of this bollocks, but with the fix now in, the crowd control wasn't exactly the same, even when Chris Jericho flexed his rather sizable acting chops and convincingly burst into tears. His week 1 troll job had worked an absolute treat, but the audiences were wary of him now. They were holding back their emotions lest he betray them once again. Said feelings burst forth like a flood on January 23rd when, after wasting 6 sodding minutes of a highlight reel segment to fire off a t-shirt gun and play a tribute video to himself, he finally spoke. This Sunday at the Royal Rumble, he began, pausing to absorb the mammoth reaction he'd earned by, well, not saying anything for the previous few weeks. It's gonna be the end of the world as you know it. By uttering just 1 line in 4 weeks, Chris Jericho had sold himself as one of the biggest threats at the Royal Rumble and finally tried to tie it back to those original vignettes. Did it work? Nah, not really. But come on, it's Jericho. But how was the world going to end? With Sheamus eliminating Chris Jericho from the Royal Rumble. Yeah, it turned out Chris Jericho didn't really have the answer to that one. As it transpired, he was referring to the world now run by those he considered imposters. Chief amongst those, CM Punk, WWE Champion and Jericho's subsequent opponent at WrestleMania. Yeah, the one with all the booze and stuff. Objecting to Punk's inferences that he was the... Oh, God. Oh, I completely skipped my mind there. What is it? Goodest in the galaxy. No, that's not it. Mightiest in all the Milky Way. No. Best in the world. Jericho got his attention and got his match. Look, I know all of this was weird stuff that he did, but look at it this way. Punk took years and a sodding pipe bomb to shake the wrestling world at its axis. Jericho, a troll, a heel, and a brilliant bastard to boot, did it best, I do believe in the words of Ronan Keating, when he said nothing at all. So there you have it. That was That Time Chris Jericho Trolled Wrestling. What were your memories of that time and how could it have been improved? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts as well. My thanks to Michael Hamflet for writing this wonderful editorial for me. And you can follow us all on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. Thanks for watching. I've been Adam from What Culture, and I'll see you soon. Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from What Culture, here to let you know we want your live event videos, whether that be something that happened after the cameras stopped rolling or your reaction to something amazing that went down at the show you were at. Stuff like this.
One of the other sweetest things I've ever seen was just recently when we saw Roman Reigns kick the shit out of cancer and come back on Monday Night Raw.
So make sure you send them to us in all the usual ways. You can tweet them at us, you can send them to us on Facebook, you can email them to us. Hell, if it's your sort of thing, you can stick them on a memory stick and post them to What Culture. But the one thing you need to remember is good, bad. Thanks for watching. Bye.